Okay. Keep moving out there. Can't see the other. Can't see the other link there. So have your cameras on to be included for attendance. This orientation is for all those seeking to become faithful members, which is the highest level of membership with the Moorish Science Temple of America's outstanding member. Refer to Act 7 on how you become an outstanding member. So we're looking for outstanding members. We're not just looking for just anybody. We done had a lot of members come and go. A lot of people just come here just to get a question answered and then get on, and I don't knock nobody for what level you're on, but eventually you're going to have to come to the realization that this is something that we need as a people, not even just you becoming a part of some group. Is like, this is for the future. What we doing right here is laying down structure for our babies and babies to be. This is something they can one day and walk and they can be a part of a free government, free national government. They can have freedom that we never even had. They can live in a world we never even lived in. We was born in servitude. It was involuntary servitude, but you under servitude. Anytime you have a government that's occupying your land, that means you under occupation. Period. Ain't no way around that. So only way you come up out of occupation is you establish yourself a sovereign government, a free national government, as Noble Drew Ali did. And he said it's on us to operate this government. And he was going to lead a European here around here long enough for us to operate this government. Let me see if I can pull up some more of, let me pull up like that. I'm going to pull up some, I got a copy of the Moorish literature. We're going to go through the Moorish literature today. Last meeting, we went through the Divine Constitution and bylaws. And the importance of having our own constitution. A lot of people don't understand the significance of a constitution. Literature, aid up, orientation. Damn. I just posted the Moorish literature inside the chat. For some reason, I cannot see inside the chat. What's going on? All right, now we're rocking. What's going on? All right. Can everybody see that screen? This is what your Moorish literature looks like right here. So today's subject matter out of Moorish literature is titled Free National Government. which deals with the supreme law of the land. So I'm going to open up our meeting as customary according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So mute your phones for the reading of this Constitution and additional laws. If you have a copy of your Constitution and additional laws, then read along. If you don't have a copy of it, let me know. Let's get you a copy of all this, at least on PDF version. Happy Holy Day. Let me recognize all the members. I see Artesia, Musa Bay, Keandra Springs. Bay, you a Bay of Ilmore. Might get y'all appellations wrong, so forgive me. Kiana, Islam to yours. Happy Holy Day. This is the day we happy. I don't care what happened in your life. Find a reason to be happy today.
Yeah, happy Holy Day.
Holy Day, Kiana. Find a reason to be happy every day, but if you ain't happy today, get happy. Because happiness is something you gotta fight for. It ain't misery is constant. Misery is what comes to you when you wake up. It's in your nature to be miserable. So you gotta stay happy. All right, let's get into this divine constitution. Salvation, Allah, unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the divine constitution, and bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the grand body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to the love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7, in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh, and ascended into his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names was given to slaves by slave holders in 1779 and lasted until 1865, during the time of slavery. But this is a new era in time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Jew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Acts 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father God, Allah. Islam, Islam, Islam. If you can now rise with me for the reading of the Moorish American prayer. If you know where the east at in your house, face the east. If you don't know where the east at, figure it out. Put your heels touch, let your heels touch at a 90-degree angle. Spread your wings. I don't know if you can see me. Let me just make sure y'all can see me. Spread your wings. 5 fingers to the left, 2 fingers to the right. And repeat after me. Moorish American prayer. God, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Salvation, Allah, unity. Moors, you can now be seated. Thank y'all for coming to y'all orientation, Moors. Y'all are the vanguard of this Moorish movement. On your journey to become a faithful member. That's a title, Moor. That's a high title in this organization. I don't care about being no Grand Sheik. I care about being a faithful member. Wherever they put me, I'm going to play my part. Because my work is still going to be the same work. I don't care if I'm teaching from, they put me as secretary. I'm going to still be teaching and studying this law and enforcing this Constitution. That's the highest title you can have in this Moorish Science Temple of America is a faithful member. Everything else outside of that is just part of the work need to be done. Okay, first I'm going to give praise to Allah. That's the most important and only person we praise. Everything else deserves honors. So we praise Allah because Allah is almighty, eternal, incomprehensible, the author, creator, and governor of the world. Chapter 36 says that Allah has instituted the laws for government of the world. So when you ever thinking where these laws come from, they come from Allah through the guidance of his prophet. And to his prophet who he ordained to teach us nationality and divine creed. The one and only Noble Drew Ali who came on these shores and sacrificed his life so we can have a kingdom on earth. Nobody came in North America and nobody came in our times to let us know that we was indigenous. And not only let us know we was indigenous, there's something we need to do about it. And put everything in this correct place. Noble Drew Ali was the one that did that, single-handedly, through the guidance of his father, God Allah. But it came a forerunner. It was a John the Baptist who came before Noble Drew Ali. And he taught the people that the Negro need their own government. He taught the people that the Negro had to be self-reliant. And he taught the people that the prophet was coming. And his name was Marcus Garvey. So to them two brothers, we give high honors. And we also give high honors to our Moroccan flag. This is the flag of the Moroccan Empire that the Prophet returned to us when we didn't even know we had a flag. In times when we was throwing up the African flag that was made up by Marcus Garvey. The Prophet brought us a higher flag than that was flew by our ancestors. And the only place this flag was at was inside the White House in the Benjamin Franklin room. Nobody knew it was there. And it was finally revealed and confirmed that it was there through Secretary, what's her name? The sister Clinton, the Clinton sister, when she made that speech from the Benjamin Franklin room and confirmed that our flag was definitely inside that White House. So all honors to this flag, this Moroccan Empire flag, and to this American flag. And the reason why we call it American flag, because it was given by the Americans to the Europeans. This is our receipt for the work of our ancestors done during the time of slavery. This is our receipt for our interest and equity that's owed to us from these Europeans. So all honors to our flag with the 5-point star. All honors to this flag with the 5-point star. These 5 points represent the highest points known to man. And that's love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice for all. And when these principles ain't carried out, justice is going to take its course. All honors to the descendants of the ancient Moabites, you, the L's and Bays, with your wills and ways. Highest honors to you for honoring your ancestors, for walking in the steps of your ancestors. Because what you are, your ancestors were. You haven't changed. You just came back in a new vessel to carry out the work. So highest honors to the true possessors of the Moroccan Empire, the Moorish Americans of North America. All honors to our Quran, the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Circle 7. All honors to this Circle 7. This is our logo. This is our key to unveil the secret societies. This key, once you know what the Circle 7 really and truly stands for, then you have unveiled all the secrets that the society has held from us for the last 500 years. Under the order of the Jesuits, under the orders of the Knights of Malta, under the order of the Knights of Cluclos, under the order of the Shriners, under the orders of who else you can name, that's been withheld in our knowledge. All honors to our tassels and our fezzes and our turbans that's also been withheld from us. These are the crowns and titles of nobility we hold. The United States can't grant you no title of nobility because you was born with it. So let's go into our Moorish literature, today's lesson. I don't want to be long extended with my honors because I can go with my honors all day. But we're going to go into this Moorish literature, divinely prepared by Noble Drew Ali. These was his articles that he published publicly in the newspaper every Friday. And he did it on Pacific dates a lot of times. Sometimes we don't have the dates for what he did it on, but we still got the literature. This one in particular is one of my favorite. And I feel like it's the most important when you come into the Moorish movement to understand what Noble Drew Ali truly was about. So I got that pinned up. A lot of people misconstrue what Noble Drew Ali was about. They say Noble Drew Ali registered under the state of Illinois. They say Noble Drew Ali made us just a religious corporation. They say Noble Drew Ali didn't know enough law. They say Noble Drew Ali didn't put the work in that he put in. But I'm here to tell you that that's a lie. I'm here to tell you and represent for Noble Drew Ali and show you right in his own literature what this man stood for out of his own mouth. And this is divine warning. Divine warning, because we are divine beings. We are divine people. So Allah sent a divine warning through his messenger to warn you Moors. And this message is still relevant to this day. So I'm going to go into this reading today. This article 10, a divine warning by the prophet for the nations. Paragraph 1 says, the citizens of all free national governments, according to their national constitution, are all of one family bearing one free national name. So if you had any doubt on what a free national government is and what it means to be a citizen of a free national government, these are key terms that you should know. That a free national government consists of people of all of one family, bearing one free national name. We all have what you call in law a common ancestor. So that makes us all brothers and sisters. We come from the original people. So if we say we the aboriginals, indigenous people of this land, that means that me and you have a common ancestor. That means we have the same father and mother. It might be way, way, way down the line, but it's there. And it counts. I'm going to continue reading. Those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and are subject to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. And it is a sin for any group of people to violate the national constitutional laws of a free national government and cling to the names and the principles that allude to slavery. So this is how the prophet began his warning. He began to tell you that you are a part of a free national government. You have a free national name. And if you fail to recognize these are words, and I'm going to have to give y'all a vocabulary list too, so y'all can go home with some homework and you can really take in depth what this prophet is saying, because these words are legalese. This whole speech is legalese out of your Black's Law Dictionary. He ain't just talking English. We ain't talking English in the Moorish Science Temple of America. We talk legalese. The prophet said, those who fail to recognize the free national name of their constitutional government are classed as undesirables and as subject citizens, subject matter to all inferior names and abuses and mistreatments that the citizens care to bestow upon them. So you got to know there's different classes of citizens. And we have a free national government, a constitutional government that we have. We fall in the highest status of citizenship. That's called a national. You are a national citizen. When you become a faithful member of the Moorish Science Temple of America, you're not just becoming a member. You're becoming a member of an international community known as the Moorish National and Divine Movement of the world. This is an international community that makes you a national citizen. The next under a national citizen is called a naturalized citizen. See, the Europeans have a naturalized citizen and a naturalized government called the federal government. They don't have a national government. The national government is the highest form of government you can have on any land. See, we gave them this flag to form a federal government for naturalized citizens. We naturalized the European to call themselves American citizens, but only through the connection of the Moorish national and divine movement of the world. Through the Moroccan Empire, they can be naturalized. If they don't hold us to our national citizenship status, then their status is dissolved. So that's why they have to recognize our government, because without our government, they wouldn't have no recognition themselves. And that's another one Hillary Clinton made in that speech. If you ain't seen that speech by Hillary Clinton 2012, go watch that speech. Go watch that speech and then keep in mind what Noble Drew Ali is speaking on. The first nation to recognize the United States was the Moroccan Empire. And we got the treaties to prove that. The Lenape Treaty. To be very specific, because a lot of people don't understand different treaties. Only treaties we know about is the Treaty of Peace and Friendship. But I've been working on a book called Supreme Law of the Land, where I'm going to put all the treaties in one book, all the Moroccan treaties from 1492 all the way into 1880. All the Moroccan treaties that we have established on this land. I'm going to continue reading. I, the prophet, was prepared by the great God Allah to warn my people to repent from their sinful ways and go back to the state of mind of their forefathers, divine and national principles, that they will be law-abiders and receive their divine rights as citizens, according to the free national constitution that was prepared for all for all free national beings. They are to claim their own free national name and religion. They are to claim their own free national... I'm reading the same thing. There is but one issue for them to be recognized by this government and of the earth. And it comes only through the connection of the Moorish Divine National Movement, which is incorporated in this government and recognized by all other nations of the world. And through it, they and their children can receive their divine rights, unmolested by other citizens, that they can cast a free national ballot at the polls under the free national constitution of the state's government, and not under a granted privilege that has been the existing condition for many years, many generations. So the prophet right here is letting you know where his authority comes from, the great God Allah. He ain't taking this out of ego. He ain't talking about some book he read about a European. He's saying that he was prepared by Allah to deliver this message and warn his people to return back to the state of mind that we have lost. And that's our forefathers, divine and national principles. So we can become law-abiders and receive some divine rights. That means inalienable rights, unalienable rights. They divine rights. These are called your birthrights as citizens according to the free national constitution that we have. So we have a free national constitution. The Europeans have a federal constitution. You got to know the difference between a free national government and the federal government. It's a big difference. This free national constitution that we have was prepared for all free national beings to claim our free national name and religion and to be recognized inside the government that we live in, the Moorish Science Temple of America and the Moroccan Empire, and of the earth. That means all the rest of the governments recognize us. And it only comes through the connection through this Moorish Divine National Movement. The movement means we have to move. The movement means we active. The movement means that we not passive. The movement means that it's motion. That means ain't no sitting around still with these lessons. It means put these lessons right into our everyday life so we can receive our rights from these lessons. Well, I want to say receive it from these lessons, but by applying these lessons, you can receive your divine rights. This is for our children. And he also mentioned a free national ballot. A free national ballot. That's something we still don't got right now. You got right now, they talking about go and vote right now. It's election time in Illinois. That's not a free national ballot. That's a 15th Amendment granted privilege. The prophet gonna tell you in this speech, we don't need no 15th Amendment. We don't need to vote in their system unless we trying to infiltrate their system by putting one of our Moorish Americans in one of their political seats like the prophet did. The prophet had politicians he put in place to vote, and they was already proclaimed Moorish American, and they went and infiltrated their system for the prophet. And outside of that, we need a free national ballot. That means that we need to be electing our own representatives to go speak to these other governments on behalf of the free national Moors. We still ain't got that, Moors. So we got work to do. So he inviting you to join in on this work we need done. I'm going to continue reading. Say, you who doubt whether I, the prophet, and my principles are right for the redemption of my people, go to those that know law in the city hall and among officials in your government and ask them under intelligent tone. And they will be glad to render you a favorable reply. For they are glad to see me bring you out of darkness into the light. There's a lot of doubters out here that say the principles of Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Temple is not right for the redemption of our people. The prophets say, if you think that, then go to somebody who know law. Don't go to the Facebook gurus. Don't go to Instagram gurus. Go to somebody that know law. See, to know law, you got to be what you know. So if you know law, that means you administering law. He said, go in the city hall. See, those are the ones that's supposed to know law, and those are the ones that's living their life accordingly as a government official. He said, go to those and ask them under intelligent tone. So go and know what you're talking about. And they'll gladly give you a favorable reply. These Europeans give me favorable replies all the time. I'm in the federal district buildings. I'm even in the state county buildings. They're going to give you a favorable reply when you truly understand how to move around their traps and their legalese and start speaking their language. See, the only way you can talk with an intelligent tone is you know this Black's Law Dictionary words and definitions and principles that come out of here. Because this is where the prophet was deriving his energy from. Go to those that know some law. I'm going to continue reading. The prophet said, money doesn't make a man. It is the free national standards and power that makes a man in their nation. The wealth of all national governments, gold and silver, and commerce belong to the citizens alone. And without your national citizenship by name and principles, you have no true wealth. And I hereby calling on all true citizens that stand for a national free government and the enforcement of the Constitution to help me in my great missionary work, because I need all support from all true American citizens of the United States of America. Help me to save my people who have fallen from the constitutional laws of the government. I am dependent on your support to get them back to the constitutional fold again, that they will learn to love instead of hate and will live according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, support our free national constitution of the United States of America, boys. So the prophet went on and let you know, first of all, let's talk some money. Let's talk lawful money. Let's talk generational wealth. Let's talk generational poverty. The prophet said that money don't make the man. It is the free national standards and power that make a man in the nation. And the man means mankind. So only way we can build up mankind in this nation and truly get some wealth is by our citizenship by name and principles. Then the gold and silver and commerce that grow out the ground and the energy of the people belongs to us in the Moorish Temple of America. It belongs to our free nationals of this government. See, all other governments are controlling our commerce right now. That's how come we still in slavery, because we are not self-reliant. The prophet said free national standards and power. What's power? Power, according to the Quran, is the result of force through the will of Allah. The result of force through the will of Allah. So power is an illusion that can change hands at any time. Power is a manifestation of the force you use from that will of Allah you was born with. See, the prophet brought us the Quran to bring us back to know that we hold this will of Allah inside of us. Allah is not outside of us. So if you know Allah is inside of you, then you can use this will of Allah to manifest anything you need in your life. And that's power. That's true power to manifest your thoughts. To manifest this government and what we needed to be, that's true power. And we got it in our hands. And Noble Drew Ali explained to us how to get that with our divine instruction. So the gold and silver, we know in Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution, is lawful money and commerce. The commerce, we know we are the biggest consumers in this world. Just imagine if we owned our own commerce. If we own all our own stores, we own our own products, we own all our own labor, we own the labor, then this nation would be the most prosperous and richest nation in the world once again. Why you think everybody want to come here to North America? Because this is the land of the richest people in the world. It's already been proven we have the highest spending power in the world. But they put us under this fiat system we call Federal Reserve notes, while they retain the gold and the silver. The prophet said he need our help. He needs your help, Moors. You Moors coming in here, you think you need the temple needs you. The prophet needs you just as much as you need this prophet. It's hand in hand. Because the nation, according to the Montevideo Convention, we can't even have a sovereign government without a permanent population. That means a membership list. If we don't have a permanent population of people, then we'll never have a true sovereign government. We can play with their courtrooms and use remedies all day long. But see, it's another thing to have a free national government to operate for you. It's another thing when you get a case and you can move the case to your own court. Then you can enforce them treaties on these people. That's a whole nother level of power no Moors ever dealt with. I ain't seen no Moors operate like this yet. But it's gonna happen for us. We have small bits and pieces of it, because we do got Moors with their own courtrooms out here, and that's been showing me and guiding me on how to establish these things. And Islam to that. So the United States of America, the prophet was speaking on a continent. See, the United States of America is a generic name for the American continent. See, these Europeans named their corporation United States of America, but this is not the United States of America corporation he's speaking on. The prophet's speaking on to the true American citizens. They're talking about the Colombians, the Cubans, the Mexicans, the Nicaraguans, the Canadians, Jamaicans, Haitians, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans. These are true American citizens of the United States of America. See, a country is a state. A country is a state. Cuba is a state. Colombia is a state. Go look up the OAS, the Organization of the American States. That's where the prophet went in 1928 to the Pan American Conference and got us our land mandate back, our land patent back. and declared us a free national government in 1928. See, the Europeans calling themselves American citizens, but they not the true American citizen. And they gotta proclaim their nationality as well. Because calling themselves American is not a nationality. Calling yourself African is not a nationality. Calling yourself an Asian is not a nationality. What type of American you are? What type of African you are? What type of Asian are you? Are you Chinese, Japanese, Korean? Are you Nigerian? Are you Cuban? Moorish American? What type of American are you? I'm going to continue reading. The prophet said, I love my people, and I desire their unity in mind back to their own free national and divine standard, because day by day they have been violating the national and constitutional laws of their government by claiming names and principles that are unconstitutional. If Italians, Greeks, English, Chinese, Japanese, Turks, and Arabians, the prophet named 7 nationalities here, are forced to proclaim their free national name and religion before the constitutional government of the United States of America, it is no more than right that the law should be enforced upon all other American citizens alike. In all other governments, when a man is born and raised there and asks for his national descent name, and if he fails to give it, he is misused, imprisoned, or exiled. Any group of people that fail to answer up to the constitutional standards of law by name and principles, because to be a citizen of any government, you must claim your national descent name, because they place their trust upon issue and names formed by their forefathers. So the prophet giving you right here a clear demonstration on what it means to proclaim nationality, what it means to be a part of a free national government. So he called the Europeans and Asians out on this. He say they gotta proclaim their free national name as well. They can't come over here talking about they European. European is not a nationality. What type of European you is? Italian, Greek? What type of European? What type of Asian are you? Chinese, Japanese? What type of Middle Eastern are you? Turk, Arabian? See, all these have governments behind them. Italians have the Italy. They government called Italy. It's got Greece. Chinese got China. Japanese got Japan. Turks got the Turkish government. All these people have governments, and you have to claim your descent name to be a part of that government. Because remember in the first paragraph you said to be a part of a free national government, that means you all of one family bearing one free national name. So how can we be black, Negro, and colored and be a part of any government? What government is for the black people? What government is for the Negro or colored people? There's no government that ever existed in the history of the human records of these people. The only government that existed for our melanated people was the Moorish government. Show me any other government that was ever established for the melanated people of indigenous lands. Never. It's the Moorish government. And the Moroccan treaties is our protection and law. I'm going to continue reading. The word Negro alludes in the Latin language to the word nigger. the same as the word color alludes to anything that is painted, varnished, and dyed. And every nation must bear a national descent name of their forefathers. Because honoring our fathers and our mothers, your days will be lengthened upon this earth. These names have never been recognized by any true American citizens of this day. Through your free national name, you are known and recognized by all nations of the earth that are recognized by said national government in which they live. So for you to be recognized in any national government, I ain't talking about United States federal government. We ain't looking for no recognition from them because they can't grant us no titles of nobility anyway. But to be recognized by any true national government, you got to bear your descent name of your ancient forefathers. You got to honor the fathers and mothers of your civilization. That's what it means to be, your days would be lengthened upon this earth. Because if not, your days going to be in jail. Your days going to be in servitude. Your days going to be in bondage. If you don't honor the descent name of your fathers and your mothers who came thousands of years before you and laid down certain government protections for you. I'm going to continue reading. This is one of my favorite parts right here. This is what the prophets truly stood for now. Now you're finna get into some deep history and some law. I love this one right here. Now the prophet said this. The 14th and 15th Amendments brought the North and South in unity, placing the Southerners, who at that time without power, with the constitutional body of power. The free national constitutional law that was in force since 1774 declared all men equal and free. And if all men are declared by the free national constitution to be free and equal, since that constitution has never been changed, there is no need for the application of the 14th and 15th Amendments for the salvation of our people and citizens. Clear as day. So any confusion, anybody try to tell you that the prophet stood for us to be a 14th U.S. citizen, 14th Amendment U.S. citizen, this speech clears it up. There's no need for the 14th and 15th Amendment. The application of the 14th, that means you don't have to apply the 14th and 15th Amendment. See, the Southerners had to apply that. Why? Because they fell out of constitutional body structure when they started these colonies called states. And they became state government representatives and things like that. And they fought the North against coming into the Union. So they didn't have true citizenship. They didn't have power to make international law. They didn't have power to convene together to enforce treaty law and enforce things that give them protection. So they had no protection. So under the state government, they was legalizing the slavery. Because see, state law is the color of law. When you get into the definition of the color of law, it means state law. So the state governments had their own people in slavery through the state constitutions that ratified slavery. And had it not been for the enforcement of the United States federal constitution on these state governments, a lot of people would not be able to be free because they was calling themselves Negro, black, and colored. Not honoring their fathers and mothers, they had no rights. Still don't got no rights. So the European and the federal government gave them an artificial citizenship called the 14th Amendment. The 14th Amendment says that you have certain protections under life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness and things like this as a citizen of the United States. But we don't need to be no citizens of the United States because we have a free national government. So we don't need a 14th and 15th Amendment. We just need to operate our own government over here. I'm going to continue reading. The prophet says, so There isn't just one supreme issue for my people to use to redeem that which was lost. So we lost our sovereignty. And that is through the above statements. Then the lion and the lamb can lie down together in yonder hills. See, you got to know what the lesson on that lion and lamb. That's a deep lesson. See, the lion is, if you just drive down the street, you're going to see a sign that say the Lion's Gate, or you're going to see the Lion's Foundation or the Lion's Organization. See, that's the Masons. That's the high orders. That's the rich and rulers. And we consider the lamb. We consider the poor people. We consider the broke. We consider the lower class or middle class. So you got to know what the lion and the lamb is. That's a deep lesson in your Quran. Your Circle 7 Quran talks about that. That's the unity of the rich and poor. To read on, if you want to read up on that. The prophet said, because love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice will be reigning in this land. In those days, the United States will be one of the greatest civilized and prosperous governments of the world. But if the above principles are not carried out by the citizens and my people in this government, the worst is yet to come. Because the great God of the universe is not pleased with the works that have been performed in North America by my people. And this great sin must be removed from the land to save it from enormous earthquakes, diseases, etc. So the prophet spoke on, first of all, geography. This being North America, not the United States of America. United States of America is a municipal government. A municipal government means a corporate government. They're a municipal government. The prophet said that once everybody proclaimed their nationality, come back into the constitutional fold of thinking, then even the United States government would be prosperous. But you see right now, since they outside of law, they outside of their own constitution, they are on their way out. They bond system, I don't know if y'all know about the bond system, but the bond system is crashed. I spoke on this on a video on the YouTube. It's called the bail bond system. See, the bond system, a bond, what is a bond? A bond is the evidence of a debt used to get collateral as credit. So they be able to put a bond on our birth certificates. They put a bond on our driver's licenses. They put a bond on our mortgages, our student loans. They put a bond on our court cases. And they use all these bonds and put them in a collateral pool and sell them as collateral so they can get assets from other nations, such as silver and gold, ammunition, whatever they need. But the nations of the earth has rejected the European. He has rejected their bond system. And now, that's why they have to stimulate their own economy, because they have to buy their own bonds. You can Google it. Look up feds buying their own bonds. Just look it up. The Federal Reserve Board has to buy all the bonds in the United States. That's because they can't sell them no more. And if they don't buy the bonds, that means that the bond holders are the ones who actually are depending on this bond system. The whole system is going to crash overnight. So that's why the prophet said you better get this silver and gold and get your 90-day food supply right now, because the European going to starve you out, because he don't have the bonds to trade to bring in the resources that we've been dependent upon. We depend on their grocery stores. We depend on their banks and their gas stations and they etc. We depend upon these things, but they gonna crash in front of your face in the near future. J.P. Morgan, the CEO of J.P. Morgan Chase, said that we only got 6 to 9 months before this crash finna hit. That's what the CEO of J.P. Morgan said. The prophet was giving us these lessons 100 years ago, but now these prophecies are coming true. That's how you know this is a prophet, because he made prophecies that's coming true. I'm going to continue reading. And I, the prophet, do hear and believe that this administration of the government been more wisely prepared by more genius citizens that believe in a free national constitution and laws through the help of such classes of citizens. I, the prophet, truly believe that my people will find the true and divine way of their forefathers and learn to stop serving carnal customs and merely ideas of man that have never done them any good but have always harmed them. So the prophet do believe in us, because we the genius citizens that he's speaking on. During his day, they couldn't even read. Now we got the access to read, and we don't even want to read. I'm going to continue reading. So I, the prophet, am hereby calling aloud with a divine plea to all true American citizens to help me to remove this great sin which has been committed and is being practiced by my people in the United States of America, because they know it is not the true and divine way. And without understanding, they have fallen from the true light into the utter darkness of sin. And there is not a nation on earth today that will recognize them socially, religiously, politically, or economically, etc., in their present condition of their endeavorment in which they try to force upon a civilized world. They would not refrain from their sinful ways of action, and their deeds have brought Jim Crowism, segregation, and everything that brings harm into human beings on earth. And they have fought the Southerner for all these great misuses. But I have traveled in the South and have examined the conditions there. And it is the works of my people continuously practicing the things which bring dishonor, disgrace, and disrespect to any nation that lives the life. And I hereby calling on all true American citizens for more support and finance to help me in my great missionary work to bring my people out of darkness into the marvelous light. From the prophet. Islam, salvation, Allah, unity, boys. So this is the law. This is one of the prophet's longest speeches ever made. This is the divine warning for the nations by the prophet. So take heed to what this man was saying to us, because he's a messenger of Allah. And he had it on his heart to bring us this message in a time when nobody brought this message ever. And still ain't bringing this message. Still telling you you don't need to have your own free national government. You don't need your free national citizenship. You can just do this little quick remedy and your problem's gone. But the true problems of our people is deeper than just a remedy that we can invoke individually. It's a collective problem we have. And only the way to solve this is become self-reliant from the European nations. We have to start relying on their courtrooms for our remedies. We have to start relying on their grocery stores for our food. We have to start relying on their military for our protection. We have to start relying on their school system for our education. We have to start relying on their banks for our finances. When we truly get tired and ready to be active and activate this Moorish Science Temple of America as a free national government, then the problem would be solved. The problem would be over with. But until then, we're going to continue to be arrested. We're going to continue to be misused. We're going to continue to be the laughing stock of the world. We're going to continue to be treated like undesirables. We're going to continue to be treated like an inferior race of people until we wake up and know who we truly are. We are nationals of this land. We have the highest citizenship that you can have in America. No other citizens can come here and establish a government and law from the ground up like we can. Can't nobody reactivate this empire except the true possessors of the empire. The Moabites. You are the Moabites. You're not Negroes, black in color. Stop casting those spells on yourself and others. Stop talking out of legalese. See, the prophet He went into the legalese. He went into the Latin language to let you know what words meant. Because we are the Phoenicians. We are the ones who invented phonics. We are the ones who invented the Latin language. We are the ones who invented the legalese. So don't think you learning no European science. You learning the Moorish science here. And that's what you're here to do. This is what this orientation is about. So you can learn the Moorish science. So when you become a faithful member, you're ready to get right to work. Because we got work here for you to do. We got the Moorish Supreme Court of Equity that we have activated. And we need all faithful members to become a part and parcel of this government. Because by being Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government, like the Constitution says. I didn't make this Constitution up. The Prophet made this Constitution through the thoughts of Allah for all free national beings. This is our Constitution to enforce. And the United States of America Constitution and Declaration of Independence is ours to enforce as well. Because that's how you keep them in line. Because Article 6 says the supreme law of the land is our treaties. They supreme law of the land is our law. That's Article 6 of this. I'm going to read Article 6 of this United States of America Constitution. Article 6 says, all debts contracted and engagements entered into before the adoption of this Constitution shall be as valid against the United States under this Constitution as under the Confederation. So that's what I mean by this Constitution is against the United States. It's against the United States. It's not for the United States. It's against the United States. It's a lien. This is a mortgage. This is a mortgage to the United States. This is their lien right here. That's why it starts off to say all debts contracted. This is their contract. And all debts contracted before this is still their contract that they can't escape from. I'm going to continue reading. It says, this Constitution and the laws of the United States, which shall be made in pursuance thereof, and all treaties made, or which shall be made under the authority of the United States, shall be the supreme law of the land. And the judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Shall be bound thereby. The judges in every state shall be bound thereby. Anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary notwithstanding. Anything in the Constitution or laws of any state to the contrary is notwithstanding. Meaning, ain't no other supreme law of the land other than what's being described right here. The supreme law of the land. We are the supreme law holders. We are to be law abiders of the supreme law. I'm going to continue reading. The senators and representatives before mentioned and the members of the several state legislators and all executive and judicial officers, both of the United States and of the several states, shall be bound by oath or affirmation to support this Constitution. Let me read that again. The senators and representatives before mentioned and the members of the several state legislators and all executive and judicial officers, both of the United States and of the several states, shall be bound by oath or affirmation to support this Constitution. But no religious test shall ever be required as a qualification to any office or public trust under the United States. So they can't have no position as a judicial, executive, or legislator in this land without taking the oath and affirming to support this Constitution. So you are to learn this Constitution to enforce this Constitution. Because they took an oath to this. They bound to this. See, in Sunday school, we go through the documents on how to enforce these things on them, like the special appearance, like the notice of removal, like the freedom of information request to pull their oath and bonds. See, you got to know how to enforce this, but first you got to learn the law to enforce it. Because you can't just use the paperwork to defend you, because you got to defend the paperwork. The paperwork is just a representation of what you're supposed to know already. Because these Europeans is going to test you on your paperwork. So anybody telling you the paperwork just going to work by itself, they lying. I done been in many courtrooms. The paperwork don't work by itself. You have to have what you call the spirit of the law in you. And once you got that spirit of the law in you, then this paperwork gonna work for you. And then these Europeans have to bow down to your nobility. They have no choice. So I don't want to get too long-winded. We've already been over an hour and a half more. As we know, orientation is just an hour. Then we go into our regular meetings at 7:30. So anybody have any questions? The floor is now open to ask any questions, and we're going to make special announcements and close out. Any questions on the divine warning from the prophet? The divine constitution from last week's lessons? Well, not last week, but the last meeting lessons. Any questions about the United States Constitution? Any questions about the Moorish Science Temple of America? Floor is now yield. Islam Musa, you have a question?
Yeah, so is there I have two questions that I had written down in my journal. Because when I was reading the treaty, they kept bouncing between U.S. citizen and American citizen. So I wanted to know, is there a difference between the U.S. citizen and American citizen? And then also, I wanted to know, who are the Christian powers? Is the Christian powers the Moors, or is it the founding fathers? I was trying to figure that out as well when I was reading.
Okay. Now, the first question you had said, what's the U.S. citizens? What's the difference between a U.S. citizen and American citizen? So a U.S. citizen is a 14th Amendment artificial person created by the Constitution in the 14th Amendment. That's a true U.S. citizen. Now, the citizen of the United States was the naturalized citizen that we naturalized the Europeans and the mulattoes come over here and have some sovereignty and independence from the tyranny of Great Britain. Now, American citizen can be any free national that's in America. And it can be a naturalized citizen. And it can be a corporation. What do I mean by it can be these things? Okay, a free national citizen can be a Cuban, can be a Colombian, can be a Haitian. These are all part of the continent America. The continent America has different nations. So in the continent America, all these people who are indigenous to America are the national citizens. They are the true indigenous people of America, so they are the true Americans. If you go into 1828 Webster's dictionary, definition of American is a person of copper color. So the copper people of America are the true indigenous Americans. So we are American. See, when it says American citizen, how can you be a citizen of a continent? Through the connection of a national government. So through your allegiance to your nation, you become a citizen of the continent as well. See, only way an African can be an African citizen if he proclaims his nationality as Nigerian. Once he a part of the Nigerian government, then he can say, I'm also an African citizen. So the Europeans, only way they can be American citizens is through the second level of citizenship. It's called naturalized citizen. So that means that they got permission from us, the nationals, to have citizenship here. That's what the naturalization means. That's why we instituted what you call the Free White Person Act. If you look up the Free White Person Act, it deals with the Naturalization Act of 1890? So the Free White Person Act defined the term white, because see, you have to go into your 101 keys what the prophet said, and this would be in lesson number, hold on. Okay, this is in lesson number 93. See, the prophet broke down in our 101 keys what a free white person is. The prophet said, 93, will you define the word white? The prophet said white means purity. Purity means God, and God means the ruler of the land. So white is not a complexion. It is not a race. It is a status that we hold. And according to the Free White Person Act, only people can have that status that was Moorish or they was mixed with Moorish blood. It said that the European, the Aryan, and the Caucasian could not be a free white person. So don't call them white. See, through Horace Greeley, the editor of the New York Times, they started the propaganda of calling all Europeans white, because Horace Greeley was a politician and a newspaper editor who understood legalese. So he influenced the Europeans to take on this status of white. And that's where the birth of white supremacy really comes from. See, white is supreme because white means the ruler of the land. But they take on the supremacy that we hold. We are the free white person, according to the Free White Person Act. And only other free white person can be a free white person on our land is our naturalized citizens that has, who you might call a mulatto. So you got to understand, the United States of America was made for mulattoes. It was made for our brothers who was not truly Americans, but had our blood and our titles of nobility through ancestry, to come over here and have some sovereignty and some privileges and immunities over here. But they could not have the true title of nobility that we hold over here. So we had to recognize them. So your second question was that, who are the European Christian, or when you said who are the Christian powers? Is that the Moors? So refer to your Circle 7 Quran. So that's a great question. Now the prophet put in here chapter 48, the last chapter. So you got to understand the politics of the world, even in treaty, is religious. Because Christianity is not just a religion, it's a military operation. It's a jurisdiction. It's a political operation. Islam is not just a religion. It's a political operation. Okay, so let's refer to chapter 48. If you don't have the Circle 7 Quran, I'm going to read it. Okay, verse 6, where it starts to answer this question. Verse 6 says, we, as a clean and pure nation, descended from the inhabitants of Africa, do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe, neither serve the gods of their religion, because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. Verse 7 says, therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations, as it was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation, while we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islam, which was founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. Now, verse 9 says, the covenant of great God, Allah, honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be longer upon earth land, which the Lord thy God, Allah, hath given thee. So that's answer that question of who Christianity belongs to and who Islam belongs to. Christianity belongs to the pale-skinned nations of Europe for their earthly salvation. Islam belongs to the Moorish Americans for our earth and divine salvation. Because we are the descendants of Father God Allah. We the direct descendants. See, the European is a creation. They are direct descendants of us. Through the Yaqub experiment. So even in their Bible, it tells them to honor their earthly masters. So they need to honor their earthly masters for their earthly salvation. Because we are the masters and the key holders of civilization. Our forefathers once started all this science. It wouldn't be no masonry had it not been for our ancient forefathers. So Islam is the religion of peace. So how can we obtain peace? By knowing our true science of who we are in, who Allah is in us. So that's why these keys is important. So go to refer to key number 17. Key 17 says, what is our religion? Islamism. Not Islam, because Islam is the newest religion in the world. Key 18 says, is that a new or is that the old time religion? Old time religion. See, we practice in the ancient, the oldest religion known to man is Islamism. That means the activation of Islam through the political structure of nationality and divine creed. It goes hand in hand. Church and state has never been separate. Ecclesiastical law is the highest law on the land because it's the rules of life. And it's the divine laws that it's the principles and principalities that all constitutions must form from. See, every constitution is a manifestation of the divine law. So it has to come from a certain set of principles, what you call principalities. So the principles that we derive our divine constitution comes out of Quran. So the Quran in itself is the law book. What I mean is Quran is the law book, where the prophet says so. You got to refer to chapter, wait one second. Refer to chapter 47, pardon self. Egypt, the capital empire of the dominion of Africa. Go to verse 12. Verse 12 says, these holy and divine laws are from the prophet Noble Drew Ali, the founder of the uniting of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Verse 13 says, these laws are to be strictly preserved by the members of all the temples of the Moorish Science Temple of America, that they would learn to open their meetings and guide them according to the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. 14 says, every subordinate temple of the grand major temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the holy prophet in the grand temple. I, the prophet Noble Drew Ali, was sent by the great God Allah to warn all Asiatics of America to repent from their sinful ways before that great and awful day which is sure to come. Key 15 said, the time has come that every nation must worship under their own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess his own. 16 says, through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they had honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. 17. That is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the words Negro, black, and colored were given to the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent, because they honored not the principles of their mother and father and strayed after the gods of Europe, whom they knew nothing of. So this is why the Quran is the law, not only telling you that it's to be strictly preserved and not reserved, I mean put up front, but also that these are the principles that all laws come from. And our principles is love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. If any law is not according to that, it's not no law. Because all laws are meant to protect you. And if the laws ain't built on the right principles, then it's not going to protect you. It's going to put you in slavery. See, we went over Christianity. Christianity was built on the 10 Commandments. That's the principles of law they derive from. The 10 Commandments is what Jesus was against. Jesus did not stand for the 10 Commandments. He was against the 10 Commandments because the 10 Commandments violate your rights without you even knowing it. See, the 10 Commandments said, thou should not kill, thou should not steal. But see, the word thou means you. And you is even a plural word to mean more than one person. But it says thou. So thou don't mean what I'm supposed to do as a ruler. So if I'm the ruler and I'm making a law called the 10 Commandments and I say, look, this is what you're supposed to do, well, what keeps the government in check? What keeps me as the ruler in check? And that's why they took from the 42 principles of Mayat. That's your ancestors' principles that makes law. The principles form law. So they took those principles and corrupted those principles to thou. But the 42 principles of Mayat says that I don't do this. I don't do that. I confess this. I do this. Because Allah is the only judge. So you not to even tell another man what he can and can't do anyway. You supposed to just keep yourself in line and not violate anybody else. Treat others as you want to be treated. That's a supreme covenant from Allah. So Noble Drew Ali brought us that in modern times. See, when you look up the 7 laws of Mayat, you can Google it, the 7 laws of Mayat. The 7 laws of Mayat is our 5 principles: love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. This interpreted to you in a modern day term. So the prophet ain't bring us nothing strange. When you get to looking at history as through government and divine creed, creed means the system of our ancestors. When you look at the true system of our ancestors, they stood for the same principles. That's why this red flag is 10,000 years old. Refer to key 19, 20, and 21. It says, what kind of flag is the Moorish? It is a red flag with the 5-pointed green star in the center. Why green? Why 5 points? Key 20 said, what do the 5 points represent? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Now, why every country got 5-pointed stars on their flags? Because these are the principles of our ancestors. The prophet ain't bring us nothing strange. He just unveiled these things so we can know what they stand for and know we are the supreme law holders. Once we get back into our principles that all law derived from. See, we can hold them to these principles. That's what you call equity. When the laws violate you and there's no more other remedy, equity come in place. Equity is the religious law, with its principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. That's equity. So the prophet brought us the equity law and the constitutional law. He brought us the divine law. He brought us the circle 7, the Hermetic principles. The Hermetic principles are the principles where all law come from. That's why we have a divine constitution with 7 acts in it, because they come from divine Hermetic principles, which is the law of Allah, the law of energy, the all in all. The all in all is Allah. We are the all. So when you understand, make that connection with Allah, then you are practicing Islamism. And that's what it truly stands for. That's why we don't need Christianity. Christianity is okay. It's all right for those who prefer it, but we don't need that. That's for the European pale-skinned nations of the Europe to practice and understand, so they can truly understand what Islam is about. I hope I answered your questions on that. Come on in, Islam. Islam, a while. Quiet stuff, boys. We're going to get ready to start this 7:30 meeting. Salvation, Allah, unity. Islam, a while. Anybody got any more questions? AGS, I see you online. Where you at, AGS? AGS, boy, you supposed to be here.
I just woke up. Literally at 27. I'm not kidding you. Peace of love, everybody.
Peace of love. That's the AGS, the Sister Grand Sheikah out there, boys. His love. And one of the faithful members just walked in. We finna get ready to start at 7:30 meeting. If y'all got any more questions, then I'm gonna go into the special announcements. Islam.
No, but when we talked about in the Circle 7 Quran,
I can barely hear you, Keandra.
when we were talking about the Circle 7 Quran and
Islam.
chapter, I can't read these numerics, but the title is Egypt, the capital empire of the Dominion of Africa.
Islam, chapter 47.
Okay, chapter 47 and number 17, when it says, this is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774. So it's kind of around that. Our nationality was taken in 1774, but those treaties were made prior to the United States Constitution, so they're still in effect, even though our nationality was taken from us.
Islam. So the nationality was taken from the Asiatics of America, not the Asiatics across the world. So the emperor at that time was not American. So when he made treaty peace and friendship, he made it from New York, the Empire State, but he was not American. He was Arabian. So in America, the emperor, he pretty much authorized slavery. When you really get into the gist of this, slavery was authorized through our empire. So the way our nationality was taken was through artificial titles such as Negro, Black, and Colored. So what it means to be your nationality taken, because nationality is your lineage, but it's also your political allegiance to a government. So we took ourselves from our government and started joining their governments. See the treaties that was made, the first treaty was made was with the Lenape, but they called them the Delaware. And then they started the colony known as Delaware. So through contract and them not understanding the law, they contracted their nationality away. Then they start calling themselves Indian, the Delaware Indian. So when we start calling ourselves Indian, we took ourselves out of the treaty protection. We took ourselves out of our lineage of being Moors and putting ourselves under an artificial title known as Indian, started by the Dutch masters. The Dutch masters started the Indian, and they started the India Company. So when the Dutch masters started the India Company, they went to Hindustania and called that India. The Hindu people was the Hindustanians, but they called them India. Then they took that and brought that over here as a caste system on us. See, you got to look up what the caste system is. The caste system is when we start calling ourselves different races. We start calling ourselves black. That's a race. Negro, a race. White, a race. That's the caste system. So they put a caste system on us. So refer to your 101 questionnaire. Number 85. Name some of the marks that were put upon the Moors of Northwest by the European nations in 1774. Somebody mute yourself. I'm hearing some feedback, so we have a clear recording. Thank you. Okay, name some of the marks that were put upon the Moors of Northwest by the European nations in 1774. Negro, Black, Colored, and Ethiopian. So what are marks? Marks are trademarks. So they put us in what they call human trafficking through commerce of chattel slavery by putting trademarks on us known as Negro, Black, Colored, and Ethiopian. So this is how nationality was truly taken away from us through contract. That's why contract is the highest law of the land. Whatever you contract to, you obligated to. Because debt means an obligation. Performance on a contract means debt. That's an obligation. So through obligations, we signed our rights away. Now, if you go into the Delaware Code, chapter 26, they made in 2016, it says the Delaware Indians was known as the Lenape, and they was known as Moors. They was known as Moors. The Lenape is the turtle, and what you call in history as the turtle people. When they was calling us Turtle Island, they was known as the turtle people. The Lenape. They not Delaware. Delaware means men's of war. That's what Delaware means. Delaware means men of war. So they start calling that them as a nationality. You the Delaware people, and they accepted that. They didn't honor their fathers and mothers. So by them contracting as Delaware, as the Delaware nation, they contracted their rights away in 1774. That's the treaty he's talking about, the Lenape Treaty.
Islam, brother, what connection does that have with the transcript of the Northwest Ordinance? Does it have?
Oh, the North. Indeed, the Northwest. Oh, that's a great question. You've been studying. See, now the Northwest Ordinance is what you call, that's what led to the fake Louisiana Purchase. So the Northwest Ordinance was when they claimed the land of the Northwest is theirs. See, by us not honoring our nationality, we stripped ourselves from the land. So they say the land is now abandoned. So by the land being abandoned, now they claimed it through an ordinance, which is not law. Law is not ordinance. So they claim the land, but see, the Washington sister, the Washington Morris sister, what's her name? I can't pronounce her name. Vertidici is what I call it. It might not be the right pronunciation. But Empress Vertidici, she was able to pull up the old landmark case of 1856 that says the Turner versus United States case. The Turner versus United States case ruled in Supreme Court the Louisiana Purchase, which was led from the Northwest Ordinance, was never official. It's void. So the Louisiana Purchase in itself was void. So they never can purchase. So you can't purchase land that's supposed to be inherited to the heirs of the land. But you can cheat the land by you not knowing the land is yours to claim. It's considered abandoned then. So when the land considered abandoned, then they come in and convert it to their government through the escheatment process. So escheatment process is like, we gonna put out a claim to the land, and if nobody rebuttal our claim, then it stands as law. So that's what the Northwest Ordinance truly is. It's they putting out a claim to our land and us not having a rebuttal until the great Henry Turner came around. See, they don't want you to know the true story of Henry Turner. See, Henry Turner, that movie, Birth of a Nation, that was artificial. See, they had to make a movie about that brother because that brother was Jesus' return. See, Henry Turner and the Turner versus United States go hand in hand to the Civil War. See, he wasn't just fighting these Europeans for getting off some plantation. He had discovered that the Turner last name means tunica. It means tunica. The Tunica tribe is an indigenous tribe that he descended from, that most of us descend from, what you might call Washita, or Choctaw, or these indigenous names, but these are the nations that own the land. So he went and got his land back, and he fought for it. His battles wasn't just all gun battles, they was in court cases too. They don't want to tell you that. So the Henry Turner, the birth of a new nation, that was a real life story of who we is in our land. But they fabricated for Hollywood, of course. You know what I'm saying? To make some entertainment and some money out of it. But truly, it's history behind the last name Turner and Henry Turner in a Turner case versus United States dealing with the Northwest Ordinance and the Louisiana Purchase. Because Louisiana Purchase, first of all, you can't purchase Louisiana because Louisiana is a colony. So they purchased a colony. Louisiana was started by King Louis. Like St. Louis is a colony of King Louis. Ain't no such thing in North America as Louisiana. It's a colony, Louisiana, though. That's King Louis land. That was when we was under French control, under French colonization. I hope I answered your question, Islam. Any more questions? Y'all got some good questions today. We're going to have to wrap it up. Special announcements. As customary, Act 7, all members must pay their dues. Today is the last Friday of the calendar month, October. So dues are now due. The dues for all our members is $60 for Telegram members to cover internet, to cover domestic work needed for the home office so we can operate an actual government at our actual location and not out of our house in the garage somewhere, where we can start to enforce and move as a national government here. So if you don't have the Cash App or the Zelle, please get with me so you can pay your dues that's due starting today. We need all dues to be paid. This is your taxes for representation and protection under the Moorish Science Temple of America. Also, we also have books for sale if you need finances. If you truly need finances, we have options for financial problems that anybody facing. We have the book, hold on. Just released, Creditology. Now this book is only $100, but it's worth $1,100. That's how much I charge for my credit service. And I give them the whole blueprint to my credit service in this one book. Step by step on how to do a credit sweep. Within 30 days, you can remove negative items off your credit. I don't care what it is. Really, within 7 days, if you truly enforce it. So I'm giving the game away because I'm going to be retiring from credit and fixing people credit. I'm taking the last customers I have, that's it. After that, we're going to be millionaires around here. So I don't got no time to be sitting around doing things that I already done for 3 years. I've been doing credit for 3 years. So that's over with. That's a chapter in my life. I'm closing and we moving on. So if you need finances, in this Moorish movement, it's going to take finances to uplift this nation. So if we ain't getting no money around here, we can talk and learn books and all we want to, but we got to manifest these things. We in the realm of manifestation. We have to manifest. We need power. The prophet said, free national standards and power makes a nation and a people. So if you're not educated on credit and you going to work and you don't know how to make yourself go from 0 to 100,000, I suggest you educate yourself on credit. We got 6 to 9 months before this recession truly hit us. You're going to need a 90-day food supply for every member of your family. You're going to need ammunition. You're going to need resources. So I suggest you get as much money right now as you can. You're going to need silver coins. We behind the 8 ball. It's crunch time. Ain't time to really think about it. It's time to be active on it. So another key announcement, if you're looking for employment, we are employing more through the freight brokerage. If you're not educated on the trucking industry, the prophet said that we ought to be industrious. This is our attempt as a nation to take over the trucking industry. I mean, take it over. I'm not talking about coming in as a truck driver. I'm talking about you learning the ins and outs of the trucking industry so we can run the trucking industry, because the prophet said all the wheels of the industry are going to stop. And when they start back up, they're going to be in favor of the Asiatics. So if we educate ourselves and start to operate this as our own company, then we truly can become the leaders of the industry. The Europeans are already doing this. The other nations of the world already took over this industry. Now, the trucking industry, if you're not educated on there, it's $1 billion industry. It's the highest paid industry in the world. There's no other industry to pay higher than the trucking industry outside part of the music industry and the drug industry. That's probably the only competition they got. But if you want legit employment as an independent contractor, to be your own boss, set your own hours, make your own paycheck, then get with me about joining the freight broker known as nationfreightbrokers.com. Okay? Now, we building this from the ground up and getting things started, so you got a great opportunity to become a part of that. And I'll get you the details of that if that's what you're seeking. And it's easy work. So let's get those dues paid. $60 is due today. Send it through Cash App. We're going to need that. Also, if you don't have your non-disclosure agreement sent in mail, we're going to need that in our secretary office. I did get Moosa's. Yours came through the mail. Keandra, yours came through the mail. And I believe that's the only ones we have. So that's required for you to be a faithful member. We have contract commitment. Contract, this is something we take very serious, information not to be disclosed. We trying to avoid infiltration while we building this from the ground up. So this is protect each one of us and our private information that we share, or our plans or operations, how we plan on operating together here. This is not to be televised. This is the revolution right here. And this revolution will not be televised. So get up with me if you don't have your non-disclosure. And please send in everybody. Membership dues are due today. We also have necessities we need. I'm going to get a list of necessities we need for donations. We're going to need donations as well so we can gain some necessities. One of the necessities we need is that 90-day food supply. So we need all y'all to get y'all 90-day food supply. I'm going to send the company that sells 90-day food supplies to Dry Foods. The dry foods they sell can last up to 25 years. It's all organic. And it's only $600 for 90 days worth of food. It comes in totes, 3 totes, separate totes, and it comes with a water boiler that you can use off solar energy. We need to prepare because I believe in the prophecies of our prophet. He said, more is put up a 90-day food supply, or you're going to be so hungry, you're going to bite in your arm, and blood going to skeet out. That's what the prophet says. So prepare, because the European even has given us a warning. He said 6 to 9 months for this hit. Get you some silver coin. I have a company called Quicksilver. You can buy 1 ounce silver coins from. Want to buy small increments to be used as trade. That's lawful money. When the U.S. dollar crashes, silver is going to be worth more than it is worth right now. The silver coin is going to be pretty much the price of gold. And it's going to be used, it's going to be more valuable than gold. You know why? Because the industries like warehouses and machinery are ran off silver. So when we get the industries back in America, silver is going to be in high demand. So if the demand, if you know anything about supply and demand grows and the supply is scarce, the value goes up. So prepare for it. You can look on usdebtclock.org for a reference point, because they even said what silver is going to be in 4 years. So those are the special announcements. Any questions? The floor is now yield for any questions. If not, we're going to close out with the reading of additional laws from the prophet. I know I'm late for the second meeting. We're going to go hard in the second meeting, though. We finna go into that special appearance and that notice of removal. All right. So, no questions, then please mute your mics for the reading of additional laws for Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Hold on, pause so. All right. Questioning additional laws for Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali. Act 1. Grand sheiks and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses. Each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali before acting upon any members. Let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the members to sacrifice finance, etc., that will cause the support of any group of members. Any formal officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from office under a heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet or the Grand Sheik. Act 2. All members are to attend their 8-up meeting and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around in a meeting period, shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second, he will be fined $1, which will go on your emergency fund. If a member is working, his monthly dues must be paid, and if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift a nation. Act 3. It is the lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid men saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people, and justice must catch you. Let it be he or she, according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while up making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radically against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire, and let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so, because out from Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality in a divine creed, that they may know that they are part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era in time now, and all men now must proclaim a free national name and be recognized by the government in which they live in the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Jew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Jew Ali, through the guidance of his father, God Allah, salvation, Allah, unity. Would you now please rise for the closing, the Moorish American prayer. Face the east, find the east way, east side in your house. Heels touching at a 90-degree angle. 5 members to the left, 2 members to the right. Repeat after me the Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
The Father of love.
The Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My God.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night.
By night.
And by day.
And by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
True Ali.
True Ali.
Amen.
Amen.
Islam, Morris. The meeting's now been closed. You can now greet each other. Islam, Morris. Islam, salvation, Allah, Musa, salvation, Allah. Salvation, Allah. There's a lot of feedback. Islam. Islam, Morris. Islam, Morris.
Today's
It's not closed this meeting, Morris. It's not closed this meeting, Morris.